Ships of an alien source are approaching from the sky.
What's happening today, YouTube? It's your boy CP, and today I'm gonna be teaching you how I make my boneless buffalo chicken, and something that is loved by my family, my friends. Anytime I make it, they just love it and they just can't get enough. And it's been a while since I made my buffalo chicken, so I decided why not make a YouTube video out of it. Let's get started. First, you want to take your chicken breast and you want to rinse it off in some water for about 10 seconds. This is to get all the germs off, just to make sure it's clean. Guys, before I get started with showing you how to make the chicken, always make sure when you're cooking with any type of raw meat, whether it's poultry, whether it's beef, whether it's pork, whatever it is, make sure you're frequently washing your hands, because that will help prevent from foodborne illnesses, so you don't get sick or you don't get other people sick, whoever you're feeding. Next, you want to cut up the chicken into smaller pieces. The size doesn't really make too much of a difference. It's just in the way you prefer it. I always make them in this sort of size just because I feel like it's comfortable and it's easy to eat. Now, most people, when they cut chicken, they use a cutting board. I don't have one right now. So if you don't have a cutting board, don't worry about it. Just make sure you get a plate that's sturdy and can support a knife. You don't want to use like a styrofoam plate because you're just going to cut right through it. So make sure you get like a sturdy plate like this one. This was made out of plastic. It's kind of old. So I've had it for years now. And it's got me through a lot of cooking. So just make sure you use something sturdy that can support the chicken and make sure it's clean. Get a bowl of some kind, doesn't matter if it's styrofoam, plastic, whatever. You want to get a fork and 2 eggs, crack the eggs into the bowl, and kind of make it like you're making scrambled eggs. Just scramble it up. This is called egg wash. This is what you use right before you bread the chicken, so it stays on there. You want to get that nice and scrambled up. And if you want, this is optional, you can add a little bit of salt to it and a little bit of pepper. Mix it up a little bit more. You're going to need another bowl, and you're going to need flour and any other kind of seasoning you would like to add to it. So I have cayenne pepper, some seasoned salt, and regular pepper and regular salt. Adding in seasonings, you don't want to add a whole lot because you don't want it to overpower the chicken itself. So just do enough to taste. So that's just cayenne pepper, some seasoned salt, some black pepper, and some regular salt. Now, I've been cooking for years now, so I know how to stir it up without even using a spoon or a fork or anything else. But if you're a beginner, then what I suggest you do, you can get a fork and just stir it up a little bit. But like I said, I've been cooking for years, so I know how to just mix it up without a spoon or a fork. Okay, the next step is to take a piece of chicken, dip it in the egg wash, and then you put in the flours in the seasonings and roll it around there. Make sure it's nice and covered. Put it right there. As you can see, I've already done a couple pieces just to show you how it should look like. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not always going to cover an entire piece of chicken, but as it's cooking, the flour and the seasoning, they're going to expand to cover it. So don't worry about if it's not perfectly covered. Now, what I've seen some people do, and this is perfectly fine, this is up to you, to make it a little bit extra crispy, they'll put it in the flour first, then dip it in the egg wash, and then dip it back into the flour. And this does work. And a lot of people have done this. I've done this a couple times before in the past when I was making chicken. And it doesn't really matter. If you want it to be extra crispy, that's fine. Just add it in there with the other ones. But you do not have to dip it in there twice. Next, you should turn your stove up to a medium-high setting. You don't want it too high or too low because then the cooking time is going to be completely off and it's going to take too long or too short, and your chicken's either going to be burned or it's going to be underdone. Next, you want to add vegetable oil after your pan has heated up. You don't want to use too much, just enough so it covers the bottom of the pan. Take a piece, place it there, and it'll start to sizzle. You want do as many as you can, but you do not want them to touch because then they're just going to cook together and it's going to take even longer. So just give them about a little less than an inch space between each piece. Chicken cook is going to sizzle a lot, so try to be careful. It may pop a couple of times, and you don't want that to get in your face because it's going to burn a lot. So make sure you keep a safe distance and just be cautious. See, the edges of the chicken is starting to get a little golden brown. Once it's golden brown around all the edges, that's when you want to flip them. Don't use your hand. Use tongs like these, or you could use a spatula. Now, to know when your chicken is finished, there are two ways to figure out if it's done. The first way, and this is what a lot of people do, they'll find the biggest piece, and they'll either cut it, or they'll try to split it. And if they're still pink inside, that means it needs more time. So I'm going to try to split it. And you can tell it's almost done, but it's not quite. So that's the most common way a lot of people like to do. They'll split it, or try to cut it, and see if it's completely white inside, and it still needs a little bit more time. However, the most convenient way and the quickest way to do it is to use a meat thermometer. Now, to know when it's done, it should hit 165. You always want to cook chicken to 165. If it's undercooked, or if there's even the smallest amount of pink, it's not going to be done. It's not going to taste right. And you can get any foodborne illness, such as salmonella or food poisoning. You may be wondering why you should always check the biggest piece when you're cooking chicken. And I'll tell you why. So, when you're cooking chicken, it's not always going to cook perfectly evenly. So the smaller pieces are going to cook a little bit quicker than the larger pieces. The larger pieces have more meat, so it's going to take a little bit more time. So if you check the larger piece first, and then if it's at 165, then that means the smaller pieces are at 165 or even a little bit higher, which is okay. As long as it's not burning, it can be 168, 170, something in that range. As long as it's not overcooked and showing black, like you see this piece right here, that's perfect. You want it to look something like this. Okay guys, now that your chicken is finished cooking, all you gotta do at this point now is put it in a bowl, get the sauce of your choosing. I'm choosing Steve and Ed's buffalo wing sauce because it's one of my favorite sauces for wings. Get enough on there. Yeah, I like it really spicy, so I'm using just a little bit extra sauce. Put a lid on the bowl. And now I gotta do is shake it up to mix the sauce in. Now sometimes it's not always gonna come out perfect, but see, I like it perfectly like that. You can add a little bit more sauce if you want to. You can measure it out with the sauce any way you want. If you want to use less sauce, if you want to use more, that is perfectly fine. It's all about how you like the food and how you think whoever you're serving it to likes the food. That's all for today, YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll have more videos coming soon. Thank you so much. Bye.